Yes guys, welcome to a brand new video. My name is Conan and I unfortunately came across this shocking statistic which stated this: 75% of all Americans are either obese or overweight. I'm going to say that one more time. 75%. That is over 2/3 of Americans who are overweight and or obese. But in today's video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how you can be outside of the norm and actually get your body weight to a healthy weight so that you are not part of this shocking statistic. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing that I need you to focus on is avoiding processed foods. We live in a world today where we have unlimited access to all this junk food. As you can see in this picture, hot dogs, pizzas, burgers, fries, donuts, chocolate, you name it, the list goes on and on and on. You drive around the city, you see fast food places, one right after the other. You walk into the grocery store, you are bombarded by pastries, chips, all this good stuff. So we are pretty much surrounded by all of these super tasty, hyper palatable foods. And the reason why I want you guys to start with your diet is because this is often where a lot of people go wrong. It is far easier to control what you put into your mouth than it is to burn a bunch of calories through exercise and cardio. So if you can control what you put into your body, you're going to have a far easier time actually being in a calorie deficit, which I'll discuss later on how that works to actually help you lose the body weight, right? Not only are these hyper palatable foods designed to be addictive in terms of their consistency, the way they get chewed in your mouth, the consistency. I mean, imagine eating a donut right now. It has like the perfect texture and consistency in your mouth. It's like nice and soft and chewy. It's got the glaze. My mouth is watering right now thinking about it, right? Especially if you were to compare these processed foods to minimally processed foods like carrots, vegetables, fruits, lean sources of protein, healthy fats. I mean, they're not really designed to even like a steak as well, which is like really hard to chew, all this stuff, right? So these manufacturing companies are literally they're scientists who are literally making this as easy as possible for you to consume and eat, right? And not only that, this also spikes your blood sugar, which zaps your energy and also causes even more cravings later on. Because after you're done eating one slice of pizza or one hot dog or one bag of chips, you're not going to feel super satisfied afterwards. You're more than likely going to crave even more afterwards, right? Because they're very, very addicting. Whereas if you were to eat a salad, for example, you're not going to be craving any more salad after that, or eating chicken breast, right? You don't hear many people tell me or tell you that, oh man, I just binged on my diet. I'm like, oh, what did you binge on? And they're like, oh, I binged on a chicken breast, or I binged on a salad, or I binged on apples. It's like you never hear anyone say that. People usually overeat on these processed foods like pizzas, burgers, fries, and chips, right? So be careful with those. And so what I want you to do instead is I want you to switch over to more nutrient-dense options, and these include lean meats, whole eggs, fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts and seeds, and healthy fats, right? So I have a picture here, but I want you guys to, and really to dumb this down, just think about foods that only have one ingredient in them. So again, processed foods typically have more than one ingredient in them because they are processed. They go through a process of being mixed with a bunch of ingredients, additives, sugar, salts, whereas whole foods typically, usually, hopefully, only have one ingredient, right? So think of a bag of chips versus a potato. How many ingredients does potato chips have? Probably over 20, 30, 40, even 50 ingredients, right? Whereas a potato, how many ingredients are in one potato? Usually only one, right? And so a good rule of thumb to keep in mind, the less ingredients a food has, the better, as it is less minimally processed, which also means it tends to have most of its fiber kept into it, right? Especially if you compare fruit juice versus actual fruits. Fruit juice, the fiber and the vitamins get stripped away from it, whereas an actual fruit from an orange, they have all the fiber, all the minerals, and all that good stuff that you actually want inside of a food, right? So again, make sure that you focus on minimally processed food so you can get all the nutrients out of it, all the fiber, all the minerals, all that good stuff to keep you nice and healthy. And on top of that, it's also going to keep you fuller for longer, right? A bag of chips isn't really going to satiate you much. You're just going to want to eat even more and more and more of it. Whereas one potato, like one massive potato, and you just microwave it, maybe have it with some more protein on the side, maybe some healthy fats, in the form of an avocado or something, that is going to keep you super, super satisfied for more than likely less calories than a couple bags of chips, right? So it's not about necessarily eating less food. It's just about making better food choices to keep you fuller for longer. And now number 2, once you've done the hard part of actually switching over from a more processed food diet to a minimally processed food diet, now I want you to actually keep track of it, because you can still unfortunately get fat and overeat eating healthy foods, which is a lot harder, don't get me wrong, but if you're someone like myself who just has a big appetite, I can very easily overeat unhealthy foods. It is unfortunate, and it is harder, right, than it is by eating more processed foods, but it is still possible, because at the end of the day, guys, it all comes down to calories in versus calories out. And if your goal is weight loss, you have to make sure that you're eating less calories than you burn on a daily basis, which means you're eating in a calorie deficit. And really quickly, if you guys want to lose 1 pound of fat per week, you should aim to be in a 500 calorie deficit per day, which will put you in a 3,500 calorie deficit for the week, and 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories, which is why that 500 calorie deficit is important for you to lose 1 pound of fat per week. And the best way to do that, to ensure that you're in that calorie deficit, is by actually tracking your food every single day. I recommend using an app called MyFitnessPal. It is completely free. They do have a premium version, which has some cool, nice little add-ons, but I personally don't use it. All of my clients don't need to use the premium version. We all just use the free version. All you need is just keep track of your food, and that is all that you really need it to do, right? And so that is how you can ensure that you're, number 1, actually knowing how many calories you're eating, and then number 2, also making sure that if you were to hit a plateau, for example, to make adjustments from that as well. And now if you need help figuring out how many calories you actually need specifically to lose body weight, because I cannot just throw out a random number to you guys and say, hey, you need exactly X amount of calories, because we're all different. Whatever may be a calorie deficit for myself may not necessarily be exactly what you need, because it depends on your activity level, your height, your weight, all these other things that we take into consideration with all of our clients to ensure that they have an appropriate calorie deficit. And then not only that, really using trial and error here, because sure, we may be able to calculate roughly, vaguely what your calorie deficit number may be, but then again, your weights may fluctuate based on your activity level, your sleep, all this other stuff. So it's really important to monitor your progress and make adjustments over time as well. Now moving over to number 3 is movement. Move more. Aim for around 6,000 to 8,000 steps per day and build up. Most people, including myself, work a sedentary job, so it can be quite difficult to actually increase your daily step count. So that is why I want you to start at a nice and easy level. The average American gets around 4,000 steps in per day. So if you can bump that up to at least 6,000 per day and then slowly work your way up from there, you're going to be in a pretty good spot from there. And so a couple small little lifestyle changes that you can start incorporating right away to increase your daily step count is by taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking after every single meal. So if you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just make it a habit of going on a nice little walk afterwards. It'll help aid in digestion as well. You can also park a bit further away from work, park a bit further away from the grocery store, or just overall just park further away, which allows you to walk a bit further. And then also, instead of taking your regular meetings, if you can, take those meetings walking instead, right? Because a lot of times we use Zoom, we get on phone calls, and we just kind of sit down and do nothing. Whereas if you can do that meeting while walking around, you're going to be definitely walking a lot more, and therefore ultimately helping you burn a lot more calories throughout the day, right? So small little lifestyle changes like that can make a huge difference, even if it doesn't seem like a huge deal in that very moment. All of this can add up to you increasing your daily step count, which therefore helps you burn more calories throughout the day, which therefore helps you get in that calorie deficit for fat loss to occur, right? And so, like I mentioned to you, right now we are living in a situation where the ultra-processed foods keep coming and coming. I go to the grocery store, and every single week that I go, I see new sugary cereals, new collaborations with like Oreo and Chips Ahoy and Lay's and Pepsi. And I recently saw this Oreo-flavored Pepsi or Coca-Cola a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, how is this even possible? How does this even taste good? But apparently people love it. And we are currently living in a situation where that is happening, plus less movement, which equals America's obesity epidemic. But you can start taking control of your health today, and you'll be miles ahead of the average person in just 6 months by incorporating all of these tips that I've just shared with you in today's video. Now, if you need some more specialized help with this, because I feel like we live in a world where also we are just bombarded with a bunch of information. I mean, I myself just gave you a bunch of information on what you can start doing right away to actually start losing the weight. But what I've noticed with a lot of people is that we don't really lack information. We more so lack accountability, right? Of having someone there to make sure that, hey, are you actually doing what I'm supposed to, or what you're supposed to do? Are you actually eating in a calorie deficit? Are you actually moving more? Are you actually exercising? Are you actually focusing on your sleep? And then if you do fall off track, are you actually planning on getting back on track again? Or if you do hit a plateau where maybe you're losing a bit of weight at the start, but then you hit a plateau and you don't know how to make changes, this is often where a lot of people tend to go wrong, right? And so if you need help with that added accountability, and if you're ready to finally lose that 30 to 50 to 60 pounds in the next 6 months and lose that belly for good, what I want you to do right now is comment 2025 down below, and I'll reach out to you. Or you can also schedule a free fitness consultation call with me. The link will be linked below, where you can schedule a free call with me, and we'll basically go over where you're at right now, see where you want to get to, and create a game plan together to help you get you there. So with that out of the way, I'm going to let you guys go. If you guys do have any questions on this quick little video, also be sure to let me know down below. But hopefully we can make 2025 your best year yet, but it all starts with you taking action.